First of all, let's look at editing the elements in this package. So I'm going to focus on the elements in this artboard, but it would apply to anything that you see in this file. So let's zoom in here. So if you've seen any of my videos before, you know that I do a lot of click and fill stuff with Affinity, so this is no different. I do, because we have all these elements on a single artboard, I do have everything grouped together. So I want to show you a little trick for how to edit an individual part of an element without changing the whole thing. So what I mean by that is if I click on this element and let's just say I turn it red, let's do the fill red. It's going to make the whole thing red because it's all grouped together. So let's just back out of that a second. And so what I want to do is I only want to turn the gray a different color. I want to leave these white boxes alone. So I'm going to click on this element, and that is going to show me that I'm on my weekly elements. You see these are two grayed out ones, and this one is the one that highlighted. So I'm going to click on this arrow to expand that. And then I can just scroll through, and I'm looking for the one that's highlighted blue. So I know that this is the group that I'm working on, and I can go ahead and expand this out. And so then I've got everything labeled: white box in the middle, white box on the right, white box on the left. So those are those three boxes, and then gray background. So in this layers list, I can click on that gray background, and now just that background is selected. And I can pick a color, and it's just going to change that background element without having to ungroup anything. The reason it's nice to leave them grouped like this is when we go to export, which I'll show you how to do later in the video. So let's find something to coordinate with that, and then we will pick the same color to fill. So let's say we'll make it easy. We're going to put this little to-do list next to this 3-column element. So I'm going to click on this element. And just to keep things neat, I'm going to collapse this back up, and I'm going to scroll through again until I find the one that's been highlighted after clicking on it. Expand this arrow out, and then also I am looking for the gray background. I've recently used this color, so I know that's the same one. I can click on that, and now I've changed this. So let's try editing a couple other ones. As you know, you can also fill with some sort of pattern or texture, so let's do that. So I'm going to choose this element here, so I'm going to click on it. That highlighted it in my layers panel, and I can go ahead and expand it. And I want to change the gray background, so in the layers panel I will select that. Now I'm going to fill this with an image or pattern, so I'm going to go to the fill tool here. And then I want to affect the fill, and I want to find my image. So under type, I'm going to scroll to bitmap, which will bring up my file explorer, and I can scroll to find the image that I want. And I had seen a repeating pattern here, so we'll use that. And so that fills it with that pattern, and I'm just going to scale it down a little bit so that the suns are a little smaller. So let's zoom in on this a little bit so we can see a little better. So now, wouldn't it be nice if this gray dot was also a coordinating color? So I'm going to switch to the move tool again, select this element, and so now I can see I've got circle selected in my layers panel. And then I can go back to my fill tool and do something similar, or I can just go straight to my colors, or I can go to my eyedropper. So I'm going to go to my eyedropper color picker tool, and let's select over this yellow, and then I can change that to be yellow. I could also just select the blue to make it blue. I don't think that has enough contrast, so let's do the yellow. And that element is ready. So that is how you can change up any of these elements quite easily. And then you can also put text over them. So let's go to this one with the banner here and zoom in. This is already all grouped together, so I can just grab either one of my text tools. I'm going to use the artistic text tool. Drag out a space, and we'll say my day. That's not very original, but we'll go with it. And because this is a dark background, I'm going to go with a white color for the font. So let's Control A to highlight all that, and then we'll change the color to white. And then I can go ahead and center this. So you can add text to any of these. I've purposely left most of them blank so that you can add text. Let's take a look at this to-do element here. If I click on it, I can find it in my layers list, expand it, and I can take this, and if I don't want to have that to do, I can check that off. If I don't want that little bubble, I can check that off, and now I can go ahead and put my own label on top of that, and you will not see the to-do or the bubble. And if you ever want it back, you just click on the check marks to bring it back. The final editing thing that I want to show you before we move to exporting is just that I've included a little template box here so that you can create your images directly in Designer and then export them if you wish. So let's just take these two over here. So I'm going to actually highlight it and copy it and paste it. You could also just move the exact element over, and then I can drag that into this box here. And I'm going to turn my magnetics or snapping off so that I can get it exactly in the box. And then I'm going to copy and paste this one as well. And then I can move this here, and then let's zoom in and align it. So I'm actually going to select over all of this, go to my Align tool, and let's align it to the topmost image. And then I can check and see that these are nicely next to each other. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to scroll to the bottom where the actual template box is and unlock it and uncheck it, and that will hide it. So I've used it to line these up, and then I went and hid it so that you couldn't see it. So with a pattern like this, you're going to have to be careful when joining ones together that you don't have a seam here. So with this pattern here, I'm just going to have this clicked, and I'm going to go back to this color fill tool, and then I can grab this dot and just try and maneuver this around a little bit so that it looks a little bit more seamless. And I like that better. So now what I want to do is I want to export this. So I'm going to go ahead and group all this together. And then we can go over to our export menu, which is this little atom looking thing. And it's automatically created a slice here for me. And so this is a slice labeled template box. If I zoom out, I can also see the names of these that are sliced, and also these ones that I filled here. So these are the ones that I want to export. These two, and then this one that I built together. So in here, I'm just going to uncheck everything first. And I can uncheck everything quickly by clicking the top one, clicking the bottom one, and then unchecking. So now none of them are selected. So I know that I want the template box, and then I want large gray with circle and small circle. So this one, so I just clicked on it to find it. This one, click on this one, and that one. And I'm going to do them all as single PNGs. And then I need to pause the video to do this because my little word export slices here is blocked out by my camera controls. So I'm going to just pause and click this export slices in. Now that we've done some edits to the planner elements that we want to use, there's also a template where I lay out two different variations of weekly, one with the lists running down the spine on both sides, and the second one with both sides the same, so with the place to write your appointments on one side and your list elements both on the right hand side on both spreads. There's also a monthly spread, which is pretty much just a done for you undated calendar, as well as a different variety of monthly where you can list your main appointments in list view here, as well as add some of those larger elements, the 6-inch and 3-inch elements that are included on the other artboard. So you can go through this. This is a table, so you would want to use the table icon here in order to edit. And so then you could go ahead and just click, holding Control, these, and you would be able to change the colors of those and then insert your elements here. So let's take a look at the weekly layout. And I've already placed frames in here for you. So you can just click on a frame, File, Place, and then you can find the PNGs. So I exported just to my downloads here. So let's find the straight blue column that we did. And it's already sized at the same size, so it should come in perfectly. I can move over to this frame, File and Place, find my coordinating one and stick it there, and there we have it. And so I would just go ahead and fill all these. There's only 7 days in a week, so you could put something different down here, maybe like a notes element could be down here, or you could put a mini calendar here. That would be a great place for that. So I want to show you that on the master template you have two different options here. So I showed you how you can use the frames here. Let me just unclick these to hide them, and I also have some template boxes just like we saw in Designer, so you could just arrange your elements over this if you would like instead. I do have this layer locked so that when you add things on top and drag things around, it doesn't drag the template boxes around. So, but if you want to hide these outlines when you're ready to export, just unclick this to hide them. And I'm just going to make the frames reappear. So coming back to the page that we are working on, so I am going to fill in the rest of these, and then we can go ahead and export. I can also go to this text, pick my color picker tool, click on this so I can match my font, and I can change the font if I want. If I didn't like this font, I could change to something else, and maybe I want to have this color, but I want to have something a little bit darker, so we could go to the color wheel and just drag this a little bit darker so that it coordinates, but it still contrasts just a little bit. Of course, this template is just a starter for you. You can use whatever software you like. Once you have exported these images, you can use Canva, you can use PowerPoint, Pages, InDesign, whatever you normally use to build your planners, you can just insert these as images. You can also turn these into digital sticker packs if you would like. You can fill them with different patterns or colors and then package them together as a digital sticker, or even import them into an app like Zinnia and use them in that planning app. So I hope you have lots of fun playing around with this, and I hope that you are able to make lots and lots of combinations of planners and stickers. And I just want to add one more thing. If you're going to make digital stickers, you could make a digital planner from this as well, and then you'd have everything coordinating with less effort. So go ahead and have lots of fun. I'd love to see what you make with this.